Well, it is a hot and sticky day here in North Carolina, but I thought, being as I got out for a ride that I wasn't expecting this afternoon, I thought maybe I would talk a little bit like an overview of how I go about building a route for all these places we go that we've never been before. So stick around, we'll get into that next. Well, hello again, Internet. Welcome back to the channel. Yeah, we're going to go ahead and just give you a little bit of an overview of how we build these routes that Michelle and I go on. And don't think about the one up in West Virginia, because there was one trail there, but like Lynchburg, when we were down there, we had to actually build a route there. Of course, we was never there. So I'm just going to kind of highlight what we do. You know, I'm going to show you something here that I think is pretty cool. That I started working like this to make sure I can let go of the handlebars, but I remembered I'm going to see if I can put this thing right between the yellow lines here. Now we're going to see if we can get over to the right a little bit, then back to the left a little bit, and then back to the center. I'm kind of working to try and get that better and better and better. It's easier when you're just drifting, but I'm gonna let the, you know, gravity is not gonna continue here, so I'm gonna see if I can continue this and pedal here for a little bit. And I'm even gonna maybe see if I can talk a little bit during this. Let's see what happens. We'll go. See, my hands are not far off now, guys. So I don't feel like I'm doing anything, quote, dangerous here. I mean, we started just kind of letting go there a little bit like that. We're going to come over to the right here a little bit, and now back to the left a little bit. And then we're going to try and get back to the center. There we go. Get back on there, boy. There we go. There we go. All right, quit playing around, Blaine. I play around with that every time I get out for a ride, just a little bit. And then the other thing that I mess around with some is I'm going to see about coming to a complete stop here. And I'm just going to see kind of how long. See, I'm not completely stopped, but I'm just going to see how long I can go just balancing the bike. And I want to get it to where I can do that the whole time. It's easier to stand up than it is to sit down on it, but oh well. Rabbit hole, there I went. Let's get back to the subject at hand here a little bit. No, we're going to stay in the rabbit holes here for just a little bit. My treatment is done for 6 months, so, and a couple of you guys have asked. I had a couple of emails asking me how I was doing with that, because they knew it was coming up, and we're good to go. Very few, I don't want to say side effects, but effects this last time through. It wasn't too terrible. We got a few lingering things, but nothing too terrible. And this is Tuesday or Wednesday. I guess it must be Tuesday, because that's the time I'm supposed to take an hour off of work when the shop is open. So I appreciate you guys that have asked about that. We're doing fine. We're doing fine. I've been riding just about every morning now. Basically, those rides are for exercise. I don't take the camera with me. Maybe I will one time here or there, but a lot of them times it starts before the sun really is. Sometimes it starts before the sun even thinks about getting up. And other times it's barely getting up. So I've been trying to get them rides, and I've been enjoying them quite a bit. But hey, let's get into this route building. How is it we go about doing this? You know, Michelle and I, we go to a lot of new places. We try and, honestly, every weekend we build a route. And we try to make it somewhere that we have not been, I don't want to say at all, but we've not done that particular route before. You know, we try and build a new route just about every weekend. Of course, we're going to run out of places that we can drive to. I'm not going to get into the specifics of how we do it. We are going to do that as soon as Michelle figures out where we're going to head to in August, and I'm going to go ahead and share that with you guys, how we go about specifically doing it. But I'm just going to kind of shoot a little overview of what we do, and let's say we'll kind of use Lynchburg as this example. So what we would do is Michelle says, okay, we're going to Lynchburg. That's got this real neat trail. And so I'll start looking around, and I'll open up a couple of websites. I might open up Komoot and Ride with GPS, and maybe Google. Ride with GPS actually has Google Maps on it, so I don't do too much of the Google, but sometimes it might be updated a little bit better, so I'll look at that as well. But I'll just go to downtown Lynchburg, and I'll start looking around at different places that we might want to travel. Now, why not just go to Google Maps and get it? You can punch in bike paths or Apple, I forget what Apple calls their stuff, iMaps or something like that. Well, I don't have an Apple phone, so that would be one reason right there not to go there. It'd be kind of tough on an Android phone. But the Ride with GPS and the Komoot, they give you bike-friendly lanes. Now, a lot of you guys watching this do not want to ride on roads. Michelle is right there with you. Heck, I'm kind of there with you as well on that. I'm not crazy about getting out on especially busy roads. I don't mind roads like this right here, but I don't like getting into pretty busy roads myself all that much. I'd much rather stick to something else. So the bike paths that are shown are sometimes just a very thin lane on a very busy road. We would try to avoid that if we could, but here's what I'll do is I'll take a look and I'll find, I think it was, what was that called? The Blackwater Creek trail that we found there. And so, okay, that looks like a good trail right there. And then it went into a river walk. All right, so next step, where are we staying at, Michelle? And she'll give me the address of where we're going to be staying. And so I'll punch that in as my start point, and I'll look for what appears like more side roads than main drags through, and I'll go ahead and start creating a route through there to get to where I want to go. Well, I still don't want to get into too many surprises, and so I'll pull up satellite view of that, and I'll look and make sure that, you know, of what these roads look like. Do they have pedestrian crosswalks on busier intersections, or are we going to be crossing with traffic? You know, those are the kind of things I can pick up from the satellite view. And I will also look at the street view. That's available on both of them websites. And we'll take a look and see what the roads look like. Are there sidewalks? If they become a really busy road and bike paths are not, you know, I've watched since I started riding bikes when thought I heard a dog barking somewhere. I'll watch drivers, and I see a ton of drivers going in to these bike lanes, quite a lot. And so I'm gonna be straight up with you. I'm not real big on the bike lanes, because I have seen so many drivers get into that. Let's see what we're gonna have here. We're gonna turn up the heat a little bit, because this is a little bit of a busier road. Go down towards the fire department. And this is what we here in Johnston County call a busy road. But we'll look at the street views, and you know, if we can get up onto a sidewalk. A lot of times what they'll show, a bike lane is very, very close by the road, and you almost cannot distinguish between them. But if you go to the street view, you can see that there's an actual separated, you can tell the difference between a sidewalk and a bike lane. And so we know we're good to go on a road like that. If it appears like it's not so good, I'll go over a street or two and see what we got. If we move over one or two blocks. And that's what we ended up doing when we were in Lynchburg. We had to move around a couple of blocks here and there to get through the downtown area. There we go. Yeah, we're getting a little bit of traffic on this road, but it's not bad. I think there were like 4 cars on this, however far this is, maybe a half a mile, 3/4 of a mile that we went. But we'll go ahead and look at it that way. And we'll get ourselves to the area that we want to ride. And then we'll start looking at different offshoots from there. And so we'll create kind of a basic route at that point. Now from there, we'll look at either the Google map and or the Komoot app has a lot of highlights, and so we might look quite a bit at some of the highlight areas, and the highlights would be a decent little cafe, public restrooms, things of that nature, and we'll see if we need to route anything in to one of those. So that would be the next thing that we end up doing. And then we start looking at, I don't get too hung up on the elevations of the route. You know, that's not really such a great big deal to us. We're on an e-bike after all. But we will take a little peek at those and make sure that we're not in for any kind of surprises along that lines. And then we'll just start refining the route from there. So we'll look for, you know, we'll see, well, how long is it? All right, we're out here to cycle today. You know, we come, I don't know, maybe we drove 50 miles to get to this place. It's probably 60 miles to go up to Winston-Salem, which is, boy, that's got a strong wind coming behind him on that box truck. We're probably 60 miles to get up to, I think it's Winston-Salem is where the, yeah, this because it's the old Salem we went to. You know, we wanted to cycle there, so we had a 25-mile route. I'm gonna slow this down just a little bit. You know, I can't hear myself talking. I don't know how in the world you guys are gonna be able to hear me. But we had about, I don't know, it ended up being like a 22-mile loop. Part of it was out and back, part of it was a loop, and so we started looking at, I think it actually started out at 20 miles. Started looking, okay, what can we do? Well, there's this quarry up here, so we're going to drag part of this route up through there. Hey, we just added another couple miles, and we got an interesting little feature here that's added in that we wasn't necessarily going to do. Another place where we went there was, we went into Old Salem. That's a very historic area, and it's only about a 1/4 of a mile from downtown Winston-Salem, but it's got, you know, 150, 200-year-old buildings there, and they've preserved them all. And that, I don't know, it's about a 6-block area, something like that. So, you know, we got a chance to get in and see that kind of thing. We might find a cafe along the way, and so we'll pop into that. So that's the kind of the finalizing thing that we do to build the route. We're going to get it to right where we want it. If we want a 30-mile loop, we're going to find enough interesting things to build a 30-mile loop when we get there. And then we're going to go back, and a lot of times, to be honest, I just end up building that. Michelle, her part is to find the names of the trails and tell me about where they're at and tell me where we are going to stay at. And then she just kind of jumps out of the picture for a little while until we've pretty much wrapped everything up. And then we'll sit down together and we'll start looking at satellite views and street views and make sure that everything is going to be good. You know, it's going to be just what we kind of want it to be. And so at that point, the route is pretty much done. So we'll go ahead and save it, and it's ready to go. We'll navigate to it and take off with it. And we do try to stay pretty true to the route that we build. Not that I'm necessarily worried about getting lost. We're not going to get lost. But I do like to see if we can, you know, I'm always evaluating the routes that we build. Did we build it well enough? If we have to come off of that route, then there was something wrong with the way that I built it in the first place. And so, yeah, we try and stay pretty true to them. You know, I don't say, well, it's telling me to turn here, but I don't want to because I think this would be better. I go ahead and make that turn there, and then I'll find out, all right, this was definitely not a good idea. So what did I miss when I built this route? Because I should have caught this at that point. So, and that's just kind of the way I like to do it. What's the benefits of this? I have to tell you, even in my own backyard, we find areas that there's just no way we would find without these apps. And so, you know, we're to me, I think I did a video, I don't know, a few months back about basically accessories that you cannot live without, you know, something that you would have on every bike. I got to tell you, these things would be one of them. These things would be one of them because they have given us so many new places to ride that we would have never found, that it is really, really unbelievable. So, and that's what I'd encourage you guys to do. Now, I am going to do a video on more precisely how we do this, and I'll go ahead and let a little bit of the cat out of the bag right now. We're using a ride with GPS Premium now. We're on a trial run with that, and I'm just starting to experiment with it. Matter of fact, this come up, like I said, I think this is Tuesday. Got to be a Tuesday. My treatment was last Friday, and the weekends, the weekends that I'm doing that, which by the way, I don't have for 6 more months, so that's good. I need to take it easy on them weekends, and so I do. And so I do take it easy. I think we actually shot a video this past weekend, but it was kind of it was one on the Bafang. That was done during the weekend. And so, you know, but like I say, I didn't feel too terrible on this last one. And actually, I'm feeling pretty good by today. But there I went down a rabbit hole again. The reason that I went there is we just got this stuff kind of hooked up last Thursday, I think. I think it was maybe Wednesday or Thursday. And so, you know, Friday when I had that done, I really haven't been able to experiment with it a whole lot. I've been able to do a little bit with it on the computer and very little with it in the field, comparing between the basic and the premium. But I do have to tell you, it has some features that are game changers. They are going to be game changers. And if you, yeah, you're gonna want to see what we're doing on some of this. So, oh, now you watch this. Watch what I'm going to do here. And the way that you can really make sure that you see that is to hit that bell, hit that subscribe, make sure that you know when that video ends up dropping, so you'll be one of the first to know it. I tell you, a cowboy can be smooth as anything. You see that, just smooth that right in there. But yeah, like I say, we're going to do a video on that. But hey, seriously, if you like this kind of thing that we're doing here, you know, we would appreciate it if you'd hit that subscribe and hit that like button. It lets us know, Michelle and I both, that you got, hey, you know what, we want to hear what an old cowboy and the prettiest gal in the world has to say about e-bikes. So that makes us want to get out here and run more of them. We really do appreciate when you do that. So if you made it this long, go ahead and go for it. Like I say, we do appreciate it. But I believe that's going to wrap it up. I'm going to start heading back in. We've been out 5 miles right now. And this is not a route. I am recording this. And I'll go over some of the, when we do our video on the ride with GPS, I'll go over some of the reasons that I'm recording all of my rides now. But for now, we're just going to leave it at that right there. So I've got my sunscreen on. I got a little bit of sunscreen on my head. Back to wearing my Santa helmet. I'm not ball capping it like I did over the weekend. Of course, I was only out in the yard. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get back to a little bit of my practicing here. See if I can get over here and get right to the center. Right to the center line. Where you going, man? Where you going? So. I'm glad there wasn't a cop right there, because he might have pulled me over for being drunk if he thought I was trying to be on that center line right there. But, hey, I'm going to buzz off of here. I've rambled on and on long enough. So I'm going to head on back. Hey, y'all keep nice and cool while you're out there. Watch out for this heat. It can be pretty bad. I'm pretty tolerant of the heat. Not so much on the cold, but the heat doesn't tend to bother me. But I do have my water with me. I've learned that. So, all right, Internet, I'm going to zip out of here. And until the next time, this is Southern E-Biking telling you, hey, stay safe, God bless, and keep the wheels turning. Once again, we're out.